Thanks, Michelle. Okay, everybody ready? All right, so welcome. It is the June 26th meeting of the Middle Smithfield Township Board of Supervisors. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of June 12th.
Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Pat, could we have a report on executive session?
Sure, there was a brief executive session before this evening's public meeting regarding real estate and litigation. No decisions were made, no votes were taken.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items? Anyone? Anyone on Zoom? Nobody? Thank you. Announcements. We're almost halfway through the middle of the year already. Can you believe it? So that means if we're halfway through the year, the mid-year is not far behind. So July 10th, although it will be a new format, you can look forward to a mid-year report of what the township has been up to. The Marshalls Creek explosion, the billboard is up, and we have some new banners this year over at the site where the historical marker is. So we hope you have time to run over and take a look. On Saturday, the 28th, there's a flyer, there's a bunch of flyers over on the side. I'm not going to go through all of them, but on Saturday, June 28th, Marshalls Creek Fire Company is having an event at their firehouse regarding their 80 years of dedicated service to the township. So they'll have a ceremony and a meet and greet and some items that you can buy for it. On July 3rd, Shawnee will have a fireworks display to benefit the Shawnee Fire Company. And July 1st begins our Christmas in July campaign. So it'll be shop local in the middle of the year to give our businesses a shot in the arm. We hope you take part in that. And the school district summer meal program is in full force, and there's a flyer with dates and everything on the side. It's also on our website. So I don't know if the supervisors have any other announcements they'd like to make. No? Okay, Michelle, is there correspondence? No correspondence. All right, that brings us to the bid award.
Okay, we have one bid provided by AMS. Okay, unit price is $2.78. And the total bid amount is $53,459.40. So I will make a motion to receive the bid. But
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to award the bid, subject to attorney review.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that brings us to the treasurer's report.
Okay, motion from our general account, $133,022.81.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye. Motion from our sewer account, $44,115.77.
All second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Motion from our EMS account, $27,500.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
That's it.
Thank you. Solicitors report.
Thank you. The one item listed on my report is Act 57 of 2022. There was a correspondence recently from the county regarding, Act 57 of 2022. And specifically, it provides for municipalities to adopt either an ordinance or a resolution, accounting for and authorizing, the tax collector to, waive what's been termed and defined as additional charges in certain situations, those situations being, specifically, where an applicant submits an application for a waiver form, and showing that one, the deed showing the date of the real estate transfer, does not line up with the actual tax, bill that went out. Or a copy of the title following the acquisition of a mobile or manufactured home subject to taxation, showing the date of issuance, or a copy of the executed lease agreement. The intent of this is to allow for the waiver of additional charges by tax collectors, for the situations where the property owner, did not receive, the tax, bill in a timely manner in order to make a timely payment. And those additional charges are identified as or defined as any interest, fee, penalty, or charge accruing to and in excess of the face amount of the real estate tax as provided in the real estate tax notice. The property owner is still required to pay the face value of the amount of the tax notice for the real estate tax, with the waiver request form. This resolution, will simply allow for the tax collector to waive those additional charges in that specific situation. But the taxpayer is still responsible for and will be required to pay the face value of the tax. Any questions for me?
Yeah, I looked it up and
So
I.
this is listed as Act 57 of 2022. I prepared the draft resolution. You can probably, if you want to, authorize it to go on the next agenda for you to pass at that time.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That's all I have on the agenda this evening, unless the board has anything additional for me at this time.
Okay. Engineers report.
All right, so the first item under my report for tonight is regarding the Shawnee-Walker 69 kilovolt transmission line program. The township received correspondence on June 12th from AECom on behalf of Mid-Atlantic Interstate Transmission. Seems to be associated with MedEd. It's a First Energy company. They are doing about a 6-mile transmission line rebuild that crosses portions of the township and goes into Lehman Township. There's a substation associated with this as well. That's in Lehman Township, not within Smithfield Township. This letter is basically a notification that they are intending to submit both an NPDES permit and a joint permit. Joint permits, it's a combination of a Chapter 105 permit through PADEP and a Section 404 permit through Army Corps. Those are essentially required for any work that would cross wetlands or bodies of water, or potentially disturb them as well. This is a required notification process that they have to send and show proof to all of the reviewing parties that the townships, and they have to notify the county as well. So the action that's required on this would just be for the township to complete the second page of the municipal notification form, which basically just speaks to, it's just 6 checklist items that talk about the status of your ordinances and whether or not the project's consistent with them. We have general location maps of where this is going. We had a similar transmission line rebuild where we had to do this probably about a year ago. So probably following similar responses to and it'll get scanned back to the applicant. If township, they're allowed to just submit for these permits. I think it's like 60 days or 30 or 60 days where we're given the response. So I guess the motion for tonight would be to authorize, and it can be whether it's the staff person of the township, or I could help you out with it as well. Whoever you want to complete this and then send it back to AECom for their application.
I think you would be the best suited, Ben.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Do you want a motion for that?
Yeah, he asked for a motion.
Yeah, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Second item under my report is regarding the Winona Lakes Bridge. This has been a topic at the past few meetings. My recollection of where we left off at the prior board meeting was wanting to just reach out to the local emergency personnel to see if they notified, or at least, reach out to Winona Lakes and check with them to see if they had notified all the relevant emergency responders. My understanding is that after sending that notifications did go out to the relevant parties. I don't know, has that been confirmed that all of them have been made aware of the bridge situation this time?
I presume, I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I gave them a list.
Okay, all right, thank you. In addition, we were checking with them regarding the status of their bridge inspection report, which had been done, I think it was like a month and a half ago. We did get that report. Our structural engineering group reviewed the findings and recommendations from their report. In gist, their engineer had basically concluded that the 10-ton load rating that they had initially recommended as a temporary status is what they were going to recommend in the long term. Basically, the report didn't really get too in depth on temporary measures that could be done to mitigate that situation, and we're essentially recommending basically replacement of the entire bridge. Our structural engineers, they're going to have a review letter or response to it that's probably getting issued tomorrow, but has provided an executive summary of their findings of that inspection report that was sent to you over email. I can certainly talk through it if you would like me to. The basic gist of their observations is that the analyses performed were more conservative than what is typically done for a load rating analysis. And the main portion of the bridge that they were concerned about, which is the steel grid grading at the top, there wasn't actually an analysis of that component of the bridge performed in their report. So it's lacking the analyses needed to really draw the conclusions that they're coming to. That's not to say that you go through that evaluation and the conclusions, you still arrive at that same conclusion. However, based on what's been provided, that we don't believe that that conclusion can be drawn at this time. Which I guess leads us to kind of next steps on how we want to proceed. Yeah, we should have that report prepared by tomorrow, at which point I'd be fine with sending that over to Winona Lakes. My gut feeling is I think there probably needs to be a couple meetings. I'm not sure what the sequencing for that should be. But I think there should be one between our structural engineers and theirs, along with township and Winona Lakes personnel present, probably at the bridge to actually observe and take a look at it and talk through their findings and ask questions and, basically challenge some of the assumptions maybe that are in this report. And then I think the second one that needs to happen is maybe bigger pictures, whether it's at a public or supervisor meeting, but talking through, big picture, how this gets resolved. It actually, now I'm talking through it, that probably makes sense to be the second item. I think we should probably get the technical aspects of it ironed out before we're maybe talking through too many hypotheticals, on what the sequence of things, because I think there's an assumption on their end that it's a very dire situation, which it could be, but we don't think the report's able to substantiate that at this time. But I think until that's resolved, I think there might be just a difference in opinion or urgency or how it necessarily gets resolved. So I guess with that, I don't know if there's any questions or thoughts.
Yes, Lynn.
Is there the option of using the ACE property, even though it's private, from Timothy Lake Road?
Right, well, that's something we're gonna have to explore, but we have to talk. What Ben is proposing or discussing, I think is a reasonable approach, because, we really don't have. An open dialogue with Winona right now, I would say. We're sort of getting pieces and, emails linger for some time and then they respond, you know. In my mind, in our mind, we need to know from the Winona board what their intentions are. Then meet with the engineer and say, is it as critical as you're making it, or is this, overly conservative? So, I mean, to be honest, to make it a critical item for the township because we have the sewer plant back there, or are we being overly critical of it? And if that's the case, then we're gonna have to get a hold of ACE and do what we have to do, whether it be, through the courts or however, maybe hopefully we can just do it, with a handshake, but regardless.
Or an easement.
Or lease the road from him?
Right, some sort of agreement that, because regardless of the sewer plant, you have residents back there. So, I mean, the sewer plant's obviously one issue, but. Emergency access, I mean, Bushkill Fire already goes through ACE's property. They don't go around and take the bridge. So, but again, I think that's just a courtesy to Bushkill. There's nothing in writing, no confirmation. I mean, things have changed over the years between neighbors there that were there that aren't there anymore, so perhaps we can reach some sort of agreement now.
Does the community association have enough money to fix that bridge?
I don't have the answer to
We
that.
won't know until we have the meeting that is proposed.
Yeah,
So that would be the next step.
Because it's not gonna be inexpensive.
No. And I'll add this too, is that, I would be careful that I'm not saying that like, we're completely dismissing the findings and even Roman notes that like.
right,
This should be evaluated, like,
Right.
it certainly, and, the township has already asked the treatment operator, they're making modifications to their, the equipment that they're using to go to and from the treatment plant at a respect of the load rating that's been put in place. So if we're making modifications, it's just that, the 10 tons per place is significant challenges, not just for the township's operator, but also for emergency personnel
right.
and even residents.
I think the trash companies made a combination too, they take the smaller trucks,
Okay.
like, what I understand.
And so, yeah, we just have to make sure, even the township had offered to, share some of the steel plates that we have as a temporary solution if
Right,
they deem that it's gonna be something that'll assist, but again, without, certain evaluations within their inspection report, it's not really, we're not able to kind of deduce whether or not that's going to aid or if it's even necessary. So, I guess I don't know if this is require a motion. I mean, we've been interacting with their engineers
I
and
don't
stuff like
think
that,
it
but
requires a motion
No,
to just
so-
reach out for a meeting.
yeah, so I think,
with them.
Mike, I guess when I send the report out, then to them, I will just state, that we would like to have a meeting with them on
Correct.
site.
Correct.
Okay, I think after that's done, that's when we can have conversations about if we think it's warranted to have it discussed publicly.
Sure.
Okay. Terrific, I have nothing else
Thank you.
unless you had something else
Well,
to
you
add.
have the.
But sorry, just on that topic.
Yeah.
That's.
But just to clarify, the rating has not dropped to 10 tons yet. Right?
They have it posted
Mhm.
as 10 ton.
There are 3 signs leading to the bridge, they can't not wait on it.
Right. Well, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Third item here, so Resica Elementary School, pump station, easement and legal description. This is related to, the township's, plan to extend, public sewer up to, Route 402. And, you put a grant application and had, since received a grant, for the portion that gets up to the intersection of Brentwood Road and 402. We had approached the school district probably about a year and a half ago, prior to that grant application being submitted, about their willingness to do a transaction on the pump station. They currently have a pump station that just serves the elementary school there. They then have a force main that comes all the way down into CCP, where it ties into township owned and maintained sewer. Just because it's a single user on it, it's privately owned and maintained, so it was something that's not really an asset, but more so a liability for the school district. But from the township's perspective, when evaluating ways to get up to the C2 zoning district along 402, by acquiring that, it would have saved you from putting in your own pump station and a new force main to get down to your existing sewer. So it was a win-win situation. They had provided a letter stating that they were amenable to that transaction. Again, this was about 18 months ago. Since we got the grant in place, RPRS, so Allison over there, they did a survey for you, prepared a legal description and easement exhibit for the pump station, and it's basically a 10-foot offset from the existing fence line out there in case there ever needed to be maintenance or replacement of that fence done. We're just giving a quick review just to make sure that the geometry for it and everything checks out, that it closes appropriately, the legal description is written correctly. But I would say once that's approved, the next step would be to have Pat reach out to the school district about getting a more formal agreement in place associated with the easement.
Yeah, so I wanna make sure I understand, I guess, the intentions of the township. The intent is to not only, I guess, secure and approach the school district about an easement for that pump station, but also is the township's intent to acquire that pump station, the actual equipment,
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And I did an inspection of it with Ross, we're looking at the condition of it. In our monthly sewer meetings, I'd given a quote from Blooming Glen, who's the CoStar's approved vendor. And actually it was kind of below the threshold. It was only a few $1,000s for them to replace some of the items, like the stainless steel chains that are used to kind of lift the pumps. A couple of the brackets were rusted, but on the whole, the pump station itself is in pretty good shape. So we didn't have that, and the pumps are adequately sized to convey what you're expecting to be sending to it with future growth along.
The lines going to and from the pump station, does the legal description just account for the parcel where the pump station is, or?
It just accounts for the pump station, yeah, and there's not really a way, since it's a force main, there's not above ground features with which to really survey. So I guess we could talk through if you need something more to substantiate that. I can give you general direction. We have construction plans for it, so assuming it was installed where they proposed it initially. Yeah, I know, Mark.
What's the distance we're talking about?
For the force main,
Yeah,
Line.
to where our existing lines are to. Are we talking like 100 feet or we're talking?
No, I think we're talking probably closer, we're at the half mile to a mile range.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not that far. Depends where it goes
Well,
across.
it connects near Village Drive or,
So that's
Right.
not all, that's not all
Maybe a
district
half
property,
mile,
Yeah,
right?
it's my half mile, is that,
maybe a half mile.
okay.
Yeah.
Mile might be a stretch,
Yeah, miles a stretch.
right?
Well, I'll just, I'll follow up with you.
Yeah,
knows that one intimately.
What was that?
We dealt with that line when we dealt with the bridge on Village Drive.
So I guess the motion would be for Pat to start the process, or I guess preparing the agreement.
So the motion, I think the motion will likely be to authorize me to move forward with preparing the easement, likely a bill of sale associated with the personal property associated with the pump station, and to get a handle on if we need, or to what extent we need, additional easements or an easement along the line from the pump station to our existing system,
It
right?
should all be within public right of way,
Okay,
should, but
we'll have to confirm, make sure,
right, right.
because we don't want a gap between our line and the pump station.
Yeah, I think the challenge is gonna be, there's really not a good practical way of getting a precise location, right? So we'll look at the construction plan
No
for it.
bands or anything, right?
Yeah.
It's all just buried somewhere.
Well,
Coast up.
It's typically
is it
right
all
off the
district
shoulder.
property? It's not all district property, is it?
No,
No, it's typically right off the
Okay.
shoulder of the road. It's typically where it's from.
Okay,
but it crosses the road at some point.
Correct.
It
It's still within right of way, right?
okay. So that would be, that's my understanding what the motion would be to keep this matter moving forward. And to reach out to the
Yeah,
district solicitor to make sure that he's on the same page with the understanding that, I guess this discussion was 18 months ago or so.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
and again, it was to get a letter of support before the grant
For the
application
grant.
went in.
all right, so moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
All right, I have just two more quick items that are on the agenda. So one, the odor control trial, quick update. So that started last Wednesday, of getting the dispensers put in at 4 of the township's pump stations. My understanding is, I think anecdotally, so far in the past like couple days, it started to kind of yield some results. Hopefully that continues. We do have a meter set in the most problematic pump station that we've had historically. I'm gonna plan to pull that just to get some data, preliminary data tomorrow. But again, it's a 3-month trial, so we'll continue to see if this is consistent. But they gave an overview to the operators on how to keep maintaining it. Pretty straightforward. They felt comfortable with it, so yeah, hopefully that continues.
Have you gotten any feedback?
Have I gotten any feedback?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard from the wastewater treatment operators. One of the guys that's down the plant the most, that he's already indicated that it's noticeably improved down there, which is great. Just talking to some of the township staff, I've heard that along this corridor, it's been improved over the past couple of days. And typically what happens when you make the switch over the first like week or so, it takes a while till
right,
it's able to take effect. So I know it was a bit rough there for a little bit, but
Right.
it seems like it's made the turn.
And the weather was a perfect environment
Yeah, it didn't help.
to, yeah.
And I just want to know which station is the most problematic,
It's typically the one closest to Maple Lane.
number 4,
What's that?
on station 4.
Yeah, you know the numbers for them. Okay, yeah.
she
Yeah,
lives right across the street.
I live across the street.
Okay, all
I
right.
can't open the front window, so I'll tell you.
Okay, all right.
I
Have you
used to-
noticed anything the past couple of days?
No,
Okay,
And it has.
and no, in a improved,
Yeah,
okay,
usually I put an open window.
okay.
Yeah, especially in the hot weather, right? Usually.
Well, your
usually it-
observations are
yeah.
welcome, so let me know, in the future
Okay.
meetings, what you're
Alright.
experiencing out there, so.
Thank you.
But again, we do have a meter set there, so we're tracking it.
Okay, thanks.
And the last item was just the Route 209 widening. There was a deadline in June for the reimbursement agreements, the 75-25 cost sharing with PennDOT on that. Got an email back yesterday, the day before, it was in the last couple of days from PennDOT, basically stating everything that's been submitted was complete, approved by District 5. So it's getting sent off to Harrisburg, where they'll be preparing the reimbursement agreement that'll be sent over to the township, clarifying and how that cost sharing will work. So once I hear from them on that, I'll be sure to pass it along, but I want to let you know that that deadline was met and it's moving forward.
Have you gotten any information from PennDOT regarding, the Hollow Road?
I have not heard, well, this is that 209 widening portion, right, where they're reworking that intersection there.
Mhm.
I haven't gotten any updated plans from them. We were submitting to them the force main relocation
Right,
plans associated with that project. I think the only update I've really heard is, I think they're expecting construction in 2 years.
well, they've reached out to property owners other than us,
Okay,
as recently as 2 weeks ago.
Well, no, 3 days, the last Monday.
Okay,
and reached out to you about what, about like right of way acquisition?
Say it again.
Right of way acquisition, what they reach out about?
Yeah, they're just explaining exactly what they're taking,
Okay,
and, the question was asked, when will it go out to bid, and they're saying next March.
okay,
I mean, that's the latest, but
right. Yeah, so it actually goes out to bid, get results, awarded, procure everything, construction
Right.
starts, and
right, then District 5 budgets for it. And they had no money, then they go back to the next year and they say, well, the
right,
cost went up, so now we have no money again.
right.
Right.
Yep, so,
and their interpretation was, this is one of the hot spots along 209 to address the traffic accidents.
So
That's,
So where they got that information?
they must be using AI.
Yeah, they do.
I do bullshit people.
Okay, anything else, Ben?
nope, that's it.
Thank you. All right, so that brings us to new business. Resolution that Pat was talking, yeah, oh, sorry, I skipped ahead, wishful thinking, right? Yeah. Old business, so we're up to Revitalize 209. So there's three things here. So there's Revitalize 209 grant application for consideration, that was Jinyin Temple. We had this before the board last week, the solicitor wanted a chance to look at this. So, and he has. So as you can see, all the paperwork is in order, everything that the board had asked for is there. I would make a motion, we did check, there are no pending violations and no open violations on this property. So I would make a motion to grant preliminary approval for this application pending the drive-by inspection by the zoning officer, building code official, just as we have on the other properties in the past.
I'll second it for basis of discussion.
Okay. So discussion,
But I wanna make sure that zoning officer drive by, at least the property maintenance ordinance gets done.
right,
So we
Yeah.
have a project there that looks like something's been accomplished.
agreed. in the past, the zoning officer has done the drive-by and looked for property maintenance issues. And the property owner, and that was at the suggestion of the committee themselves, because there were a few visible violations from 209. And then those were corrected and then the project proceeded. So, yes, I agree with you.
So just so I'm clear, the motion is to have the zoning or code official to do their, however you want to classify, a drive-by inspection of the property to ensure it's complying with the ordinances before any written preliminary approval goes out.
Yes, it's,
Okay.
yeah, the motion. is
To
for
ensure that there
a
are no
preliminary
obvious
approval
violations.
pending that,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So there's been a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Okay, and then the next one is Marathon Studios. So I didn't want to, and that would be, like the billboard where the Delta Homes, was, or. So they are requesting, an extension because, they had heard that there would be widening and they had been calling PennDOT. And that they were one of the properties targeted for that. So they don't wanna do their landscaping and improvements and then find out that they've been widened away. So they are requesting a time extension. So I would make that motion that we would grant a time extension on their application. I believe the last extension we gave was 6 months to another applicant. What is the board's opinion on the length of extension based on Ed's comment that they're going out to bid in March?
Well, this particular project
Yeah.
is going out to bid in March. This, where their properties
Yeah,
might be taken, is not going out to bid in March.
not that long.
But
No, it's the other project.
Yeah, that's not going to affect.
no, not at
that
all.
area.
No, not at all.
No, it's, yeah, the project that Hollow Road is not gonna affect
It's
it.
not a part, no,
This
it's
is
a
the
separate,
future
it's a,
project.
yeah,
I mean, ultimately, they will be widening there too,
yeah.
because their comments.
So I guess my question is, how long of an extension do we wanna specify now until this appears on our agenda again?
Well, I think we have to do at least 6 months, although I don't know if 6 months is gonna get.
I don't think that'll be enough.
It's not gonna be enough, but just
Yeah.
to keep it coming back,
Okay.
bubbling back up,
All right,
I would say 6 months.
all right. So then. So motion to grant the time extension for 6
Second.
months, a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Real quick question on that one, so this property, where's this one located at?
You,
Yeah. 209 Primrose.
209 where Delta
Yeah.
Homes was, which is near Primrose
okay.
Drive. It's.
So they haven't been able to get any plans or anything like that, cause I know we had gotten kind of that initial conceptual one, although if I remember correctly, they had a few concepts in there, right, so they hadn't even nailed down
They've
necessarily
not-
what they were,
They've told us they've not been able to get the plans.
okay. I mean, I don't know which of the options PennDOT's pursuing, but at least it would be something. You want me to send it over to James, just so he has it?
Mhm.
Okay.
He's on the call.
Alright,
He appreciates
James,
it.
I'll send you what I got from PennDOT, again, it could have changed. And there's different options in there, but at least it's better than nothing.
Well, I think they're right, assuming there's property gonna be taken on their side of the road, because the other side of the road is pretty steep and bad.
Yeah, they're not gonna take
They're not gonna
that.
build that road up.
Logic doesn't always enter into the decision.
Right, right.
All right, there's been a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so, the next one is, also requesting an extension. This is Echo Lake Plaza. And they are requesting, a time extension on their project. Which is a total cost of $2,500, but they're, requesting for a time extension for a good reason. Because they've just gotten too much business and they've been too busy to get to, to prepare for this, so I would make the motion to grant this one a time extension of 6 months.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we're on to new business.
But we did so.
And Pat discussed it.
Yeah, I actually, to be honest with you, I didn't see it later on the agenda, so if
That's
you
okay.
wanted to.
That's why I
act-
put.
I didn't see it later on.
Said you might wanna add it on there, I'll talk to him on Thursday.
So I was looking at the old agenda, I didn't realize you had that listed under
You
new
can do
business,
whatever
so
you want, Pat, don't worry, we can do it first.
if the board wants.
Listen, we don't even have to do the pledge of allegiance, we can do that.
If the board wants to consider adopting, I guess it would be resolution 06-2025-2, which would be implementing that. The waiver associated with additional charges for real estate taxes, it would be appropriate this time.
Okay, so moved.
So what do we do now?
I make a motion to.
Oh, we're not gonna post it anymore, we're just gonna do it?
It's a resolution. It was
It's
on the
not an
agenda.
ordinance.
I didn't realize it was on the
We
agenda.
rescind the other motion then, right?
No, we'll keep that, but this is under new business.
So it's up- I mean, listen, if you wanna wait, until.
No, I don't wanna wait, no, I don't wanna have it, cause it'll show up someplace on this agenda, we don't know where it is.
So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 06-2025-2.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And again, I apologize.
No, I'm glad you
That's
brought
going
it up.
off the
All
old agenda.
right,
Perfect.
so now we're up to public comment. Does anyone have any public comments? Bonnie, if you are not shy, would you mind making a comment on the positive thing that you said previously today, this morning?
Yeah, I wanted to thank Mark and Myra for helping out. There was a noise problem in our neighborhood. I did not know the person. They only are here part-time, and they got a hold of them and was able to have the alarm turned off, which was appreciative. I didn't want to have to call the police for something that I know what it was. So
Right,
I appreciate your help, and Myra was great at communicating. So just
Well,
want to
that's-
say thank you.
Sorry, it took a little longer than I would have liked to, but Myra was out of the office,
Mm-hmm.
but as soon as she got back in, she jumped on. Thank
She
you
was
for
great.
help.
I think I have a person on my side there that I can contact should I need it again. So
Yeah,
she was
yeah,
great.
feel free to
Thank you.
call. Thank you for the
Thanks.
kind words.
Bonnie. And also, thank you for your submission of pictures for the
You're
township.
welcome.
Appreciate
I was
that.
very fortunate to view that this morning.
It's a bear with 5 cubs
Fine.
behind him. So, but thank you.
Yep, no
Any-
problem.
Any other public comment from anyone?
I just wondered, did all of the memory maker postcards go out?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, they're
So-
so late.
so now you are not the first one to say that. I mean, we've gotten some calls, we've looked at our list, we know we sent them. We look at our list of
Yeah,
labels that we've printed out and,
someone else asked me today.
Yeah,
I didn't get one.
yeah.
But they asked me about it, so.
so, please don't feel that you were left out. It seems to be a mail issue. Carrier issue.
Well,
So,
so what are we gonna do? Just wait. Are we gonna put Deb's name in then?
well, if she calls, we publish it and say, if you've lived here 30 years, call us.
Okay.
So people
Look at
can
this
call
call.
in. Yeah,
I'll give you a call.
yeah,
Yeah,
and RSVP that way.
yeah, sure. No
So,
problem. We have lived here 30 years.
all right, any other comments or questions, anybody? All right, well, we won't see you until after 4th of July, so everybody enjoy a safe Independence.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
I